Hello, Jim Epler here again today. I'm going to start a little differently. I'm not going to read notes. I'm going to talk about my life, what I found out about it, what was hidden from me, some questions that I have about my life and growing up and the people around me. We'll start off with my grandfather, Henry George Epler. I found out just 4 months ago, that he shot a police officer in the face. I'm assuming in the city of Reading, Pennsylvania, in 1928. I didn't know that my grandfather was such a horrible man, and my grandmother never shared anything like that with me. My grandmother was born in 1923. I don't know what her upbringing was like. It wasn't talked about. I still question, and I question greatly, if she knew and had any role in my abuse. I watched Spotlight last night, and that one guy said, well, my mother put out cookies. Well, I kind of am looking down that same scenario type of road. It's hard to, because this was supposed to be the person that cared most for me. You know, my father passed away and my mother passed away early on. I was 1 year and 10 months old at my mother's passing and 2 years and 10 months old at my father's passing. I was jumping up and down on his chest trying to wake him. Probably about 3 minutes, and my grandmother said, Jimbo, go to your bedroom. I knew it wasn't good. That is my first true memory in life. It's not a good one. Continued to age. I would be sent over to the neighbor's house when he moved in. And I say grooming, they groom you, they groom you. He was a state police officer. Boy, it would have been nothing better than to possibly become an officer, because I truly wanted to protect people and to serve. I don't know that I would have liked it, but I would have liked to have had the shot. He would take a paper clip and hide it on himself in his basement, and I'd have to find it, just like a police officer would do a pat down. And slowly this thing ended up working its way down to his scrotum. And from that point on, that's where it almost always was. So again, I wanted to stop playing the game. This took place in his house, next door to me, while his kids were at Brownies. Getting a little bit older, I was down at Redner's stealing my new supply of pornographic material, Hustler, Playboy, Penthouse. Usually the beginning of the month. I had 3 magazines down the front of my pants with my shirt pulled over. I walked out like I always did, started walking to the right to go up the hill at Redner's, and someone ran out and hollered, hey, you stop! Well, I took off. I'm a kid. Didn't see him chasing me, didn't hear him chasing me, and I got away. The next day, my abuser came to me and told me that I couldn't do that anymore. He was walking in as this guy was running out chasing me, so he stopped him to talk to him. He paid for the magazines and said that he would have a talk with me, I guess, and make sure I wouldn't do nothing like that again. Who was the man that was chasing me? I was at Redner's Markets in Greenfields, PA. The Byrne Township officers. I don't know whether it was purposely hidden, covered up. I'm not making those accusations. I do know that one officer did end up with the Berks County Sheriff's Office. And then I do remember reading that a Berks County Sheriff's officer went to the pornography unit in Washington, D.C. Soon thereafter, the building that I talked about him renting across the street from me for the Toys for Tots program was ripped down. Was there evidence in there? Were there photos of my abuse that somebody came across? They were trying to relocate? I don't know. I don't know, but this man called me and he was so angry at Mr. Harry O'Neill for taking that building down. Angry. Makes me wonder. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, if there was something, is he being blackmailed? He's still working today at 72 years old for a funeral home. If I had 30 years in with the state police and got a pension for abusing children, I don't think I'd be working anywhere. I think I'd be hiding out. When I got to my service, up to the United States Army in Fort Drum, New York, I was stationed in one particular barracks, in one particular room, with one particular man. Within an hour of being put there, my room was changed from the room in the middle of the building to the room at the end of the building. That I had an exit right next to me. It was awesome, I thought. All right, cool, I'm first one out. There was a payphone outside that window. Did this guy have that much reach? That much clout? I don't know, but I needed to get this man that phone number. And until I did, the letters that I received, I will read some of them. He'll check in with Mum until I do. Mum was my grandmother. Again, that worried me about my grandmother's safety. I don't know. I don't know whether I should have been. I shared the Officer Snowden in the helicopter crash. Probably don't have anything to do with it. He might not have. But as a little kid, at that tender age, I think that happened in '74, scared me after my grandfather's death. I was frightened of him. The night that my grandmother passed away, again, I don't know of anything suspicious here, but I called her that night. And my grandmother always told me, Jimbo, you don't say goodbye, you say so long. Goodbye means forever. I was on the phone with her that evening, and we were making peanut butter and coconut eggs for Easter. So I told her, Mom, I got to get going. I'm going to go take care of these eggs. The whole family's going, me, my 2 daughters, and my wife. And I'll stop by later on for the paper. She allowed me to pick up Sunday's paper after she was done reading it. I only read Sundays because every other day of the week, there's nothing but depressing stuff. I'm ready to get off the phone with my grandmother, and I say, okay, I got to get going. Love you, Mom. And she says, I love you too, Jimbo. Goodbye. And the phone clicked before I had a chance. I looked at my wife still holding the phone and said, should I call her back? Do you want to stop first? And she looked at me and she said, we're stopping after the eggs to get the paper. We'll just see her then. I agreed. We worked so late that evening that I didn't get down to pick up the paper. I received a phone call from my sister the next day saying on the phone, Jim, hurry up, Mom's dying, I think. I hadn't talked to my sister in 2 years. I was at her house within the minute. I lost my whole exhaust at the bottom of the hill because I was going so fast to get there. I think the statute of limitations is up on that. Probably 90 miles per hour, folks. Got there, my grandmother was already deceased. And she was laying almost like that. To me, it looked like she might have been defending herself, but again, no accusations. The water was still in the tub. She never leaves the water in the tub. My sister talked to her that night before. Never leaves the water in the tub. I'm a paranoid individual when it comes to my family's safety. I have a jar of that water that's still saved. Sickens me to feel as though I need to do some of the things that I did. I'm curious about the statute of limitations on an illegal wiretap. Are they federal? Are they state? Is there a statute on them? Is there a set time frame? I need to know. I'm on Facebook under James Epler, Reading, Pennsylvania. Anybody out there that can get that information, sure, shoot it to me. I'd love to have it. After I reported this man, I did not talk to him for quite a few years. When I reestablished contact, it was because of the fact that I found all this stuff of what my grandmother saved. I guess I needed some closure, some answers. So I've been working on the answers. That'll come way down the line. I did my best to protect the kids. And with everything that I heard the other day, sitting in the Capitol, they don't want to go after these people. And I understand that. I hope we can still get them. But I lost my faith in that. I don't believe I'll see that happen. So I'm going to do it my way. Are your daughters going to be able to handle some of the stuff that I'm about to read and say. I chose to turn down a friend on Facebook because they're friends with your daughter. For my safety. I don't need her seeing what I'm putting on Facebook. I would prefer if she wasn't able to. I'm okay with her watching YouTube. My Facebook is a little more personal. And my Facebook is only open because of what I'm doing here. I thank you for your time, and I'm going to be reading some more letters here in the very near future. Thank you.